There is something different about watching Lamine Yamal with the ball at his feet. He doesn't need a huge amount of space. He doesn't need a long run. Sometimes, all he needs is a defender standing directly in front of him. And then the magic begins. Yamal slows down. He looks at the defender. The defender waits. For a split second, nothing happens. Then Yamal moves. A tiny touch with his left foot. A change of direction. A sudden burst of acceleration. And the defender is already struggling to keep up. This is what makes Lamine Yamal's dribbling so fascinating. It isn't simply about running quickly. It's about control, timing, balance, deception, and confidence. Yamal has an unusual ability to keep the ball extremely close to his body while moving at speed. That means defenders have very little time to react. When the ball is far away from a player, a defender can anticipate where it is going. But when Yamal keeps the ball close to his foot, everything becomes more unpredictable. One touch can completely change the situation.
He can move left,
Then right. Then suddenly accelerate forward. And the defender has to guess. That's where Yamal becomes dangerous. He doesn't always attack the defender immediately. Sometimes he waits. He slows the game down. He allows the defender to make the first movement. And when the defender shifts his weight onto one leg, Yamal goes the other way. That simple change of pace is one of the most powerful weapons in his dribbling. Because football isn't always about being faster than your opponent. Sometimes it's about making your opponent move first. Yamal understands this extremely well. He uses his body to create uncertainty. A shoulder movement can make a defender think he's going one direction. A small movement of his hips can suggest another. Then his left foot takes the ball somewhere completely different. The defender reacts. But Yamal is already gone. And there is another reason his dribbling is so difficult to defend: his balance. Yamal can change direction without losing control of his body. He can lean one way while keeping the ball under control with the other foot. He can stop suddenly, accelerate again,
turn,
and continue moving. For the defender, this creates a nightmare. Because there is no obvious moment when Yamal is finished with the move. Even after the first dribble, he can produce another. And another. That's why trying to stop him with a single movement can be dangerous. You may think you've blocked his path, only for him to find another angle. His close control allows him to operate in small spaces. A crowded area doesn't necessarily scare him. In fact, tight spaces can sometimes make his technique even more impressive. With defenders close to him, every touch becomes important. Too much power, and the ball is lost. Too little power, and the defender can take it. Yamal seems to have an instinct for finding that perfect touch. Soft enough to maintain control. Sharp enough to escape pressure. And then comes the acceleration. This is one of the most beautiful parts of his dribbling. Yamal can go from almost walking speed to explosive movement in an instant. The defender may be standing comfortably one moment. The next moment, Yamal has pushed the ball into space and disappeared. That change of speed is often more effective than simply sprinting from the beginning. Because when a player runs at full speed immediately, the defender knows what to expect. But when Yamal slows down first, the defender relaxes. Then comes the explosion. It's almost like a trap. Slow.
wait, watch,
Then accelerate. Another important part of Yamal's dribbling is his left foot. His left foot gives him tremendous control when cutting inside from the right side. He can receive the ball near the touchline, face the defender, move toward the outside, then suddenly cut toward the middle. The defender has to decide whether to follow him inside or protect the outside. And that hesitation is exactly what Yamal wants. Because even half a second can be enough. Once he gets past the first defender, the entire situation changes. The defense has to react. Another player may have to step forward. That creates space somewhere else. And Yamal's dribbling suddenly becomes more than an individual skill. It becomes a way of breaking an entire defensive structure. But perhaps the most impressive thing is his confidence. Yamal is willing to try. Not every dribble will work. Sometimes the defender wins. Sometimes the ball goes out. Sometimes the move doesn't come off. But he doesn't seem afraid of making another attempt. That's extremely important for a dribbler. Because if you are afraid of losing the ball, you'll stop trying to beat defenders. Yamal does the opposite. He keeps asking questions. Can you stop me? Can you match my movement? Can you predict my next touch? And sometimes, the defender simply cannot. His dribbling also has a certain rhythm. It's not random. There is a pattern.
Touch. Pause. Touch.
Acceleration. Change of direction. Pause again. Then another burst. This rhythm makes him difficult to read. A defender wants to predict the next movement. But Yamal can change the rhythm at any moment. He can slow down when the defender expects speed. He can accelerate when the defender expects him to slow down. He can stop when the defender expects another run. That unpredictability is one of the foundations of elite dribbling. And then there is the confidence to attack from difficult angles. Yamal doesn't always need a perfect route. Sometimes he receives the ball with a defender between him and open space. Instead of immediately passing backward, he looks for an opening. One touch, a body feint, a quick movement. Suddenly, there is a gap. And he attacks it. The beauty of his dribbling is that the movement often looks simple when it succeeds. That's the illusion. A viewer might think, all he did was move the ball to the left. But behind that simple movement is timing. The position of the defender. The defender's body weight. The distance between the two players. The speed of the ball. The angle of Yamal's body. All of these details matter. Elite dribbling is not simply fancy footwork. It's decision-making at incredible speed. And Yamal appears to have that instinct naturally. He doesn't need 5 or 6 unnecessary tricks. Sometimes one body feint is enough. Sometimes one touch is enough. Sometimes the most effective dribble is simply a change of pace. That's what makes his style so exciting. It's efficient. He isn't dribbling just to entertain the crowd. He is trying to create an advantage. Beat the defender. Create space. Move into a dangerous position. And force the defense to react. There is also something psychologically powerful about facing a player like Yamal. A defender knows that if he gets too close, Yamal can use his close control to escape. If he stays too far away, Yamal has time to pick his next move. If he commits too early, Yamal can change direction. If he waits too long, Yamal can accelerate. It's a difficult puzzle. And Yamal keeps changing the question. That's why his dribbling has become one of the most exciting aspects of his football. He doesn't simply carry the ball. He manipulates space. He manipulates movement. And sometimes, he seems to manipulate the defender's mind. The defender thinks he knows what is coming. Then Yamal changes everything with one touch. Perhaps that's the most fascinating thing about watching him.
You know he wants to attack.
You know he wants to cut inside. You know he wants to beat the defender. And yet, stopping him is still difficult. Because knowing what a player wants to do doesn't necessarily mean you can stop him from doing it. And that is the difference between having a move and having mastery. Lamine Yamal is still young. His dribbling will continue to develop. His strength will improve. His decision-making will become even sharper. His understanding of the game will continue to grow. And if his current style is already this difficult to defend, imagine what it could look like after years of experience. Imagine the same close control with greater physical strength. The same left foot with even better decision-making. The same confidence with years of top-level experience. That is what makes his future so exciting. Because we may not be watching the finished version of Lamine Yamal. We may be watching the beginning of something much bigger. A player who can stand in front of a defender, slow the game down, wait for the smallest opening, and then turn that opening into something spectacular. One touch, one movement, one acceleration, and suddenly, the defender is behind him. That's the art of Lamine Yamal's dribbling. Not simply speed, not simply tricks, not simply skill, but the ability to make a defender believe one thing, and then do something completely different. Subscribe for more football documentaries, like the video, share it with another football fan, and tell us in the comments, what makes Lamine Yamal's dribbling so difficult to stop?